Okay, let's get straight to the point. Tomorrow's superpower edge will be machine speed decisions, not bigger missiles. In 2026, military AI is no longer a lab concept or a buzzword in strategy papers. It is being wired into surveillance towers, drone cockpits, command posts, and data pipelines that never sleep. This countdown tracks the country's scaling military AI the fastest and explains what autonomy is changing in real terms, how targets are found, how decisions are queued, and how wars can accelerate without anyone feeling in control. Stay with us because the final entry is not a flag, it is an axis. Number 10. South Korea. South Korea's AI push has a clean starting marker, a defense AI center established in 2021. That move mattered because it treated artificial intelligence as more than a procurement line. It framed AI as a domain capability, something to be developed, staffed, tested, and governed like air power or cyber operations. Nowhere makes that logic more obvious than the demilitarized zone. The DMZ is a place where vigilance is permanent. Fog, storms, and harsh terrain produce constant false alarms. Tension produces constant readiness. AI-assisted surveillance helps filter endless sensor feeds, flag anomalies, and reduce the human fatigue that can turn a routine watch into a disaster. The surprising detail is the pace. In planning tied to 2026, South Korea pushed for a sharp budget jump aimed at AI-enabled unmanned combat systems and border surveillance. This was not a slow upgrade cycle, it was an acceleration driven by a hard constraint: manpower. As the conscript pool shrinks, Seoul has to replace bodies with sensors, automation, and decision support. And the deeper shift is psychological. Once a country trusts algorithms to watch its most dangerous border 24 hours a day, it becomes easier to let software suggest what to do next. That is where the next entry lives. Not just AI on the edge, but AI in the chain of command. Number 9. Britain's modern AI posture. Britain's modern AI posture began with an institutional play. In 2021, it launched the Defense Artificial Intelligence Center with a clear objective: make the armed forces AI ready. That phrase sounds broad, but the priorities are specific. The UK's mid-2020s defense strategy leans heavily on AI for intelligence analysis, cyber operations, and decision support, the parts of war where speed and signal matter more than sheer mass. Here's the reality driving that choice. Modern militaries drown in data. Satellites, drones, electronic intercepts, and cyber sensors produce more information than a human staff can read, let alone fuse into a coherent picture. The twist is how the UK balances ethics and optionality. Publicly, Britain emphasizes meaningful human control over lethal force. At the same time, it has resisted binding international bans that would lock down the future of autonomous weapons. That combination is deliberate. It keeps moral language in front while preserving strategic room to move.
And this is not just about drones. AI woven into C4SISR means algorithms touching sensor fusion, targeting workflows, and the tempo of command decisions. In a high-end fight, the UK wants decisions faster than a traditional headquarters can produce. But doctrine is only half the story. The next country turned unmanned systems into a battlefield narrative that keeps repeating across wars. Number 8. Turkey. Turkey's rise in military AI is inseparable from the drone era. Instead of waiting for the slow, expensive path of building fifth-generation air fleets at scale, Ankara leaned into unmanned systems and loitering munitions that could be produced, iterated, and exported quickly. The core fact is straightforward. Turkish drones became globally recognized in the 2020s, and Turkey kept pushing AI-assisted platforms through the mid-2020s. These systems were not just flying cameras, they were persistent sensors paired with precision strike, compressing the time between detection and destruction. One name that keeps appearing in debates is Kargu-2, a loitering munition reported as capable of striking with reduced human control in certain combat scenarios. Whether fully autonomous or heavily assisted, the concept matters because it shortens verification windows. When a weapon can search and move toward a target faster than a person can validate context, the political threshold for action can drop. The surprising detail is diplomatic. Turkey did not merely field drones, it exported them, trained operators, and shaped how smaller states imagine air power. That is influence without carrier groups. It is power projection through software, supply chains, and doctrine packaged for export. But that influence carries a darker implication. If autonomy lowers cost and risk, it can also lower restraint. So what happens when a sanctioned and isolated state decides AI is the shortcut to modern strike capability? That question points directly at the next entry. Number 7, Iran. Iran's military AI effort sits inside a broader national push announced in the mid-2020s, with explicit interest in AI-guided munitions and border security. The core fact is that Iranian leadership and security institutions have publicly framed AI as a modernization priority, and Iran has explored AI-enabled approaches across missile guidance, unmanned platforms, and surveillance. The surprising detail is how well AI fits Iran's strategic model. Tehran does not need to match Western militaries platform for platform. It needs scalable disruption, systems that can saturate defenses, complicate planning, and impose costs through volume. AI improves that model by boosting accuracy, coordination, and autonomy without demanding decades of aerospace development. Algorithms can make cheaper systems smarter, and smart can be enough when used in numbers. There's also a network effect. Iran has signaled cooperation with Russia on AI, suggesting battlefield lessons and technical pathways can transfer across relationships in ways that are hard to track from the outside. Even limited exchanges can speed up learning in key areas, like navigation under jamming, target recognition, and coordinated strikes. But Iran's development is still partly aspirational. It's building toward a future it wants. The next country had no choice but to build in the present, under the pressure of full-scale conflict. Number 6, Ukraine. Ukraine became the most intense real-world laboratory for drone warfare and autonomy in the modern era. Since 2022, it has scaled unmanned systems rapidly, and by the mid-2020s, it was procuring large numbers of AI-enhanced drones while experimenting with unmanned ground vehicles for frontline tasks. The shocking detail is tempo. Public analyses describe an unprecedented strike rhythm, with vast numbers of drone engagements shaping daily frontline outcomes. This is not just a statistic, it's a new model of attrition, where software, rapid manufacturing, and adaptation compete directly with traditional artillery dominance. Ukraine's AI use goes beyond the label of smart drones. Machine learning modules assist navigation when GPS is jammed, help identify targets under cluttered conditions, improve resilience against electronic warfare, and support coordination across multiple unmanned platforms. AI tools also help fuse air defense and sensor data, accelerating strike planning and shortening response cycles. What makes this so disruptive is feedback speed. A drone team can test a tactic in the morning, watch it fail by noon, update software by evening, and fly again at dawn. That's wartime iteration measured in days, not procurement cycles measured in years. In this environment, autonomy is not a luxury feature. It's the difference between a drone reaching its target and a drone falling from the sky. Now, pause on the pattern interrupt. If the battlefield generates targets faster than humans can approve them, what becomes the real bottleneck? Ethics, bureaucracy, or the speed of the kill chain itself? The next entry sits at the center of that accountability debate because it shows what AI-assisted targeting looks like when operational tempo becomes relentless. Number 5, Israel. Israel operates one of the most advanced intelligence and targeting ecosystems currently known in modern warfare. Its military advantage increasingly comes from integration rather than individual weapons. Surveillance feeds, signals intelligence, aerial reconnaissance, and historical datasets are fused using AI-enabled analytical systems that can generate targeting recommendations far faster than traditional analyst teams ever could. The core fact is speed. AI-supported tools process enormous quantities of information and transform scattered intelligence into prioritized targets within compressed timelines. Systems publicly associated with high-tempo targeting pipelines demonstrate how software can accelerate the movement from detection to decision to strike. The controversial detail emerges from that same acceleration. Faster targeting can increase operational efficiency, but it also magnifies the consequences of mistakes. Critics argue that when strike cycles accelerate, even human review may struggle to keep pace with algorithmic recommendations. Accountability becomes harder to define when decisions unfold at machine speed rather than human rhythm. Israel's military AI ecosystem extends beyond intelligence software. The country develops and exports advanced drones and loitering munitions, positioning itself as a central supplier in the expanding global market for AI-assisted combat systems. Technology becomes diplomacy. Export relations create influence networks that extend far beyond regional conflicts. The unavoidable question follows. If AI-assisted targeting can reshape an air campaign conducted by a technologically advanced regional power, what happens when a major military adopts similar autonomy at industrial scale across thousands of platforms? That brings the countdown to a country already refining AI weapons under wartime pressure.
Number 4. Russia. Russia's military AI evolution is unfolding in real time under battlefield conditions. During the war in Ukraine, loitering munitions like the Lancet demonstrated algorithm-assisted precision strikes, combining onboard sensors with software that identifies and tracks targets during attack. The key feature is rapid adaptation. Combat use leads directly to improvements in endurance, targeting accuracy, and payload effectiveness, compressing innovation cycles. Russia emphasizes scale over prestige, relying on remote and autonomous systems to reduce human risk while sustaining pressure through persistent strikes and surveillance. The battlefield shifts toward continuous algorithm-driven attrition, raising a critical question: is one advanced weapon more dangerous than thousands working together? Number 3. China. China describes its military AI transformation through the concept of intelligentized warfare, a shift from using AI as support toward making it the organizing logic of future operations. The People's Liberation Army integrates AI into battlefield awareness, command support, unmanned systems, cyber operations, and information warfare, linking sensors, analysts, and weapons into a unified operational network. The defining feature is integration speed. China does not separate civilian and military AI ecosystems. Through military-civil fusion, commercial breakthroughs transition rapidly into defense use, supported by legal frameworks requiring cooperation between technology firms and state security institutions. This produces 3 advantages: scale, integration, and velocity. Systems deploy widely, update quickly, and operate across domains, from cyber to maritime environments. China's vision extends beyond drones. It includes algorithm-assisted influence operations, predictive analysis, and decision support, shaping how commanders perceive the battlefield. AI becomes strategic infrastructure rather than a single weapon. But China's rise is not isolated. Another power is building a parallel system connecting sensors, platforms, and commanders at machine speed. Number 2. United States. The United States approaches military AI through connectivity, centered on Joint All-Domain Command and Control, or JADC2. Its goal is to link every sensor and shooter across air, land, sea, space, and cyber into one decision network. AI enables this by fusing vast data streams and presenting prioritized targeting options faster than traditional command structures. Coalition exercises increasingly extend this network to allied forces. Beyond combat, AI supports logistics optimization, predictive maintenance, simulations, and operational forecasting, transforming the military into a data enterprise where advantage comes from faster interpretation of reality. Together, China's scaling and America's architecture form the defining axis of AI warfare. Number 1. United States versus China, the AI warfare axis. This final entry is not a country, but the central force shaping global military AI. Strategic assessments describe a bipolar landscape where the United States and China drive capability, investment, and operational norms. Their influence extends worldwide. Exported technologies, training partnerships, and doctrines shape how smaller nations adopt autonomous systems, often inheriting embedded software standards and decision frameworks. A key concern is their shared hesitation toward binding global restrictions. When international efforts seek limits on autonomous weapons, both powers fear losing strategic flexibility, valuing technological freedom over universal rules. The result is structural acceleration. Even without open conflict, AI increasingly assists command systems in identifying targets, prioritizing threats, and recommending actions, shifting warfare toward algorithmic speed. This is the new arms race, not only who builds stronger weapons, but who defines how machines participate in decision-making. The United States-China rivalry will ultimately set the standards others follow. Like, share, comment, and subscribe for more analysis.